Yo, what's up, guys? Joker bringing you my day 2 and 3 update video for Path of Exile 2's Dawn of the Hunt. I know in my last video I stated that because of the state of the game and the issues that I was experiencing, I probably wasn't going to make another video on Dawn of the Hunt. I didn't know if I was planning on playing it. But then GGG decided to do a bunch of updates, primarily where they went ahead and they took all of the HP away from the rare mobs, essentially making monsters and rare mobs more in line to what they were previously, meaning that they're not ungodly tanky anymore. And since one of my biggest things was how big of a struggle it felt like to progress because of how tanky everything was, I was like, fuck it. But then when I woke up at the end of day 2, I was like, oh, okay, shit, I'll go ahead and I'll give it a shot. And it seems like they're continuing to make updates. So hopefully, just like a regular league, in the next couple of days, they decide, okay, we actually fucked up and they revert a lot of stuff. But just in case they don't, this is probably my second to last video indefinitely, right? I am now in game, and that's what I wanted to try out. If I don't enjoy it, then my next video going over the new end game will be probably the last video, and then it's just going to be Last Epoch stuff, right? Because we're going to be in Last Epoch season 2 here pretty shortly. Well, not pretty shortly. I think we still have like another week and a half or something, but sooner than we have right now. So let's go over the character. So let's start going over the character because there's a couple things that I want to address at the end of the video as well. So right now we're currently level 73. We're still a lich, obviously, because you're locked into that choice in POE 2. We have no armor, no evasion, and no block chance. We have 73 lightning res, 41 fire, and 42 cold, 23 chaos, right? We have about, what, 3,600 EHP. And our defensive layers are pretty much just mitigating as much damage as we can, as opposed to actually building multiple defensive layers. We pretty much just try to reduce the amount of damage we take. And I'll show you what I mean by that, right? So if we go over the gear, we have a, I'm sorry about that. We have a +3 chaos wand that has increased spell damage. We have some gloves that are literally just resistances. You'll notice that majority of the gear is really, really, really bad, right? So I'll just go ahead, hover it, belt, boots, gloves. We have a focus that has +2 levels and energy shield, and then we have an amulet that looks like this, right? So vast majority of the gear is really bad. Then we have prayers for the rain to give us that energy shield recharge is not interrupted by taking damage if it's begun recently, and runes for res. And then we have an add serious disdain, which is giving us 10% of damage taken bypasses energy shield, as well as 10% of max life as extra max ES, which is really cool on its own as well. So let's go over how the damage mitigation on this character works, like I was mentioning, right? 10% of damage taken bypasses energy shield, but because we have eternal life, our life cannot change while we have energy shield. So this 10% just gets erased. And then we have the soulless form. 10% of damage taken bypasses energy shield. So that means that we're only taking 80% of the damage that we would be taking as long as we're on as long as we have energy shield. We don't have to have full energy shield, but as long as we have some energy shield, we're pretty much just taking 80% of the damage. And then we are also taking heavy buffer, which is another 5%. So we only take 75% of the damage that we would otherwise, as long as we have energy shield. And then from there, it's going to do the normal other damage mitigation, right? Like evasion, armor, block, but we don't have any of that. So the only other thing it goes against is our resistances. So that's our primary defense, like I was mentioning. And then the character just plays like a normal Essence Drain Contagion character. Let's see if I can load into a zone without it being just super fucking laggy. I was going to open up a map, but the maps are incredibly laggy. I don't know what's up. It's like literally every map that I open, the amount of buffering that there is and like the amount of lag is insane. I would literally have to like open a map and stand there for like 10 seconds for it to actually allow me into the map. Okay, we're gonna cut and come back when we're actually in the zone. Okay, so the zone loaded a little bit. We've been standing there for like 10-15 seconds. But let's go over the playstyle of the character, right? So essentially how this works, you have two strategies. You can throw out an Essence Drain and clear generically with that. The Essence Drain has chain on it, so you'll hit a couple of enemies, right? Or you can go ahead. My Contagion right now on its own really does not have enough damage to clear. Like just on its own, I have to hit with the Essence Drain to clear, but let's find some mobs. Okay. So we throw down the Contagion. Well, since we're in a level 59 zone, this might actually clear. You can throw down the Contagion as well and use either of the primary skills to clear if you would like. What you're supposed to do is you throw down the Contagion and then you throw out your Essence Drain. Now, what this does is because we have Spell Echo on Contagion, we usually hit about 3 enemies. And then the Essence Drain is going to bounce around and hit multiple enemies. So it's going to go ahead and pretty much hit a bunch of things with the Essence Drain starting that dot, and then the Contagion is going to be spreading that dot. In case you've never played Essence Drain Contagion, right? We're actually going to run back because I don't want to have to deal with the city. The city might actually crash me, so we're just going to jump back to our hideout. With the character overview out of the way, let's go ahead and talk about the first impressions of the revamped endgame. The revamped endgame does seem to have a lot more content in it in general. I'm going to make a short video about the towers just in case people are curious, because it is interesting how they work. Like, I think a lot of people aren't getting maximum benefit from them because they're probably just throwing a map into them and they're not really reading what it actually says. But essentially what you have to do is you have to throw multi-modded maps into the towers. If you put in a blank white map like previously, you only get 1 slot that you can put a tablet. But if you do at least a 3 modded map, you get 2 slots. And since you can have a prefix and a suffix on each tablet, plus, the tablet can be influenced like ritual. What this ends up doing is giving us essentially 6 mechanics or 6 boosted juiced mechanics in an area, right? Because you would be able to go ahead and put the tablet, then you get the benefit of whatever's on the tablet, the 2 modifiers, that's why I'm saying 6, and then you can put 2 of these tablets in each tower as long as you clear a tower with at least 3 modifiers. So with this tower over here, I was able to go ahead and add 4 modifiers essentially on everything, as well as making it irradiated and having it giving it a boss. Now, you are bottlenecked by what tablets you find, and towers are more spread out, so you still do have to do the annoying travel portion of it. But overall, you should be seeing a large chunk of additional content in your maps. On average, they should be more fun. And now that I'm in actual end game, if the performance would be better, I probably would definitely be having more fun. But with the changes they made, I can definitely say I'm having more fun than I was on day one. So we're making our way to this tower right here, and then we're going to throw in this tablet. Actually, you know what? Let's actually just do that real quick. Let me run 2 maps. Okay, so we just finished the tower and cleared it, right? Oh, and there's a copper citadel right there. Found our first citadel already. Holy shit. Nowhere near T15 maps though. But yeah, so we cleared it, and as you can see, these 2 dots are empty. So I should actually grab another tablet. Do I have any other tablets? I have one for bosses, and that's literally it. Main reason why we're doing this is because it is still extra secondary stuff, right? Like quantity of items dropped by map bosses and extra gold. So we click the tower, we put in our 2 tablets, we hit influence, and everything is just like super influenced. So let's go ahead and sell this shield here real quick. Currency is also super fucking easy to make in this league. Like I've made a stupid amount of currency with literally 0 effort. Let's do this trade. And then we'll go and talk about the news and actually a little bit about the future of POE 2. With that out of the way, let's look at the sad future of Path of Exile 2. It is 4 days into the league, and there's already been another exploit / dupe discovered. Now, this isn't Impy's screenshot, but he's sharing it and bringing attention to it. Real screenshot from Fresh POE 2 League. You can infinitely re-roll windows, and with 3 overlapping towers, you can reduce the deferral cost to essentially nothing. So as you can see in this picture, this man has found 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 divines. I'm not counting all those audience with the kings. That's at least what? At least 10 audience with the kings. I think this is a level 20 gem. Then we have like 20 whittlings. So the market is already going to be fucked. I mean, I guess that does leave good news for the average players that never got to interact with some of these high-end omens, but the inflation is going to be ridiculous. We're going to have a bunch of raw currency because you can get that from ritual. We're going to have a bunch of omens because you can get that from ritual. Like, there's not very much that you can't actually get from ritual. I believe you can get essences as well. So you can literally get whatever the fuck you want in the economy right now for free. And I haven't seen anything from GGG even addressing it at all. Now, I haven't checked in the last hour, but you know that's already been going on for a couple of days, right? So let's go ahead and take a look at some of the prices of these items. So up first, we have the audience with the king sitting at a respectable 20C per fight. We have divine orbs, which are showing about 47x each. I think I said C with the other ones. And then we have omens of whittling, which I'm just going to go ahead and buy this right now. Sure, why not? It's probably going to go down. And then we have omens of whittling sitting at 20x each. So a lot of the big ticket items from the previous league or the initial launch are gone, right? So that's really cool. Economy is going to be fucked. But besides that, we also have another post that I want to go over. We have the what we're working on post. And essentially in this, what they're addressing is that spears and minions did not feel good, but they just submitted a patch, a restart list patch, to kind of give them a bunch more damage. Gym level 30 minions now have 79% more damage. They literally almost doubled the damage for minions, but whatever. Then we have monster life being too high. They already addressed that. Large area size. They're digging their heels in and saying, once we have more content, you're fine. Crashes and disconnects. This has been atrocious. And then quality of life features, right? So essentially, what they're saying is, deal with it, right? That's like the TLDR of this. They fixed some of the things, but for a majority of this, they've essentially said, this is the way that the game's going to be going forward. You're just going to have to deal with it. Large area sizes is annoying. The fact that they just said, oh, well, yeah, since there isn't enough content in the huge maps yet, you guys aren't overjoyed, but once you get more content in them, you're going to be fine. No, I would really like just smaller maps. I'm fine with less content in the maps if I can get through them twice as quickly, right? Don't get me wrong. The amount of content that you can get on maps now just purely through the atlas and through towers is a lot, and it's pretty neat, but it seems like it's easily exploitable, right? Like if we look over here, this tower for whatever reason gives me a shit ton of exp in this Vol Factory. Oh fuck, it's Vol Factory though. So I'm going to keep playing with this end game. I don't know how. I know I keep saying this, but as long as they keep pushing out updates, I'm willing to give it a shot. At least up until we get the launch last epoch. I've stayed relatively blind on majority of that. So I'm expecting that that is just going to be like super, super fun. I've looked at some things and some spoilers, but like I'm still relatively blind on how a lot of the new mechanics in Last Epoch are going to work. So that should be fun. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Day 2 to 3 update on Path of Exile 2 and the state of the game. And while looking slightly better, is still looking pretty bad. I am giving 0.2 overall, a 5.5 out of 10 so far for this league. Like they should have just focused on 3.26.